Hello, beautiful souls. Stacie Overman here. We have a lot of new people joining the group, and I'm super excited to have you join us. So if this is your first video that you have the pleasure of watching, I just want to welcome you warmly and encourage you to use that link where I had in the welcome message to dive into any of the other videos that I have already shared, because I hope that this will be beneficial for all of you. And interact. Let me know you're here. Ask questions. What is it that you're needing help with? And I will do my best to answer them. And if I don't answer them in the message, I will be sure to create a video around those questions. So it is a very drizzly, rainy day here in Kentucky. And so I thought, what the heck? I was wanting to get outside and it's not going to happen. So I want to share how to psychically protect yourself. And many of you in here are near-death survivors. Many of you have experienced what I call a soul awakening or a spiritual awakening or a reawakening. Let me just tap my screen here. It seems awfully bright. I guess it's just the lighting. But and what I mean by that, if you're a little bit new to this and you're not sure that you're in the right place, many of us see things or hear things or know things. Hi, Larry. And oh, I just saw this beautiful butterfly, even though it's raining cats and dogs outside. Wow. That can be an angel sign right there. So a lot of times, like when I first started having my awakening, I would see sparkly lights out of the corners of my eyes. I would sense that someone is in my presence, but not in the physical realm, not in our third dimensional realm. And I would see visions in my peripheral vision, like souls lining up around the bed that I knew were souls from heaven that weren't here on earth with us at the time, and lining up, and it was peaceful and loving. And so many of you that are in this group are experiencing similar things like that, and I would love to hear what it is that you're experiencing and what you've seen, felt, or heard. And some of you in this group may be absolutely terrified by what you're experiencing. You might be brand new to this and you're like, what the frick is happening? And I totally get that. I myself, when it first started happening to me, I can remember having a prescription for Ambien, and I would pop that Ambien because I didn't want to see anything at night, and I would still be experiencing things and feeling things, and so I'd grab the bottle of wine and I'd start with the wine, and then that wasn't working, and so then I'd go downstairs and I'd make me a margarita. And of course this is terrible to mix a prescription drug with alcohol, and I just couldn't sleep. And I was out of my mind at this point because I really shouldn't have been doing any of that. So if this is something that you're experiencing or feeling like doing, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. And that is how I can help you. I want to be able to help you navigate through what you're experiencing, help you understand what you're experiencing. And so today, this video, I want to make sure that you have a couple of protection mechanisms that you can turn to when these kinds of things start happening, and especially if you are afraid or if you need sleep. Because I'll tell you, even me today, like someone will book an appointment with me and say it'll be like 3 or 4 days out, and I will actually feel their loved one coming to me about the time that I need to go to sleep. Sometimes I have felt pressure on the comforter where they've literally felt like they've sat down on my bed. I have heard them while I'm blow drying my hair, and they're like, I'm here, is it time yet? Is it time yet? And I'm like, no, it's not time yet. And so setting boundaries is very important. We set boundaries on our physical realm here. We have boundaries that Sundays are just for family days, and everybody knows that. Or please don't call us after 9 p.m. unless it's an emergency. That's a good boundary. You don't hang out with your best friend's husband without your best friend there. That's a good boundary, right? it's a protection mechanism so that you're safe and you feel okay, and everyone around you is safe as well. So you have to have boundaries with the spiritual realm as well. So what do I mean by this? Well, when these types of things start happening, you can kindly ask them to please step back out of your bubble space. Please give you space. Please allow you to sleep. I never encourage antagonizing or threatening, because you never know what this spirit is there for, or what kind of a spirit it is. You know, it could be a loved one of yours, it could be a loved one of someone in your family, or someone that visited your house and this loved one is hanging out there hoping that their family member is going to come back. But it also could be a dark entity as well. And I do have to preface, no matter what you see on TV, no matter what you hear on TV, don't believe everything that you hear and see. I would offer to bet that 90 to 95% of every type of spiritual encounter that you have is good. And I would say that less than 5% is evil and dark. And so if you're not looking for this kind of stuff or going on paranormal investigations in hopes of finding this kind of stuff, you know, I'm really talking about in your home, in your space, in your private time, and learning what the heck is happening. So if you are seeing dead people, you know, that happens. I do too. Your first reaction might be, I just saw a ghost, right? And it could be very well a ghost, but more often than not, it is a loved one on the other side trying to communicate with someone that they care about. And that is my experience over the years of learning about this process. So setting boundaries is very important. So if you're trying to sleep, you could actually physically have in your vision, in your mind's eye, like imagination, that you're going to have a rose, say, for example, and choose what color your rose is. And you're going to set it out here outside of your bubble space, and you're going to ask all of those spirits or whatever is happening at that time with you to please stand behind that rose. Wherever you've placed that rose outside of your bubble space, hi Carrie, place that rose outside your bubble space and ask these spirits to stand behind that rose until you invite them in. So if spirits are bothering you, this is a great way to have a boundary. The same goes with your own spirit team. We all have a spirit team, and at some point or another, we have approximately about 33 between angels, loved ones, spirit guides that work with us. Now, they are not in our third dimensional world. They are in the 10th dimension, and they come down to the 5th dimension, and when our vibration raises, we get glimpses of the other side, and we can feel and hear and see and sense that they're near us. Well, they have no timeline as to what time of day it is. Time is not of importance to them. So we may need rest. Our body physically needs rest. Our spirit doesn't need rest, but our body needs rest. And if your spirit team is right up against your back, it's going to cause your vibration to keep raised. And I even get to the point where my jaw will chatter like I'm cold, and I'm not cold. But I can tell my hands will get really shaky, and my body feels very shaky, like I've had a couple pots of coffee. So, boundaries with your beloved spirit team, you want their help, you want them near you, but there are times when you need to set a boundary and have another rose, pick a different color for your spirit team, and place this rose outside of your auric field, outside of your bubble, behind you, and ask them to move back behind the rose until you've invited them in and ask for their help again. So there is a really nice boundary that you can set for not only your spirit team, but also for any other spirits that may be coming through trying to communicate with you, either for you or on behalf of someone else in your life that's around you. So I hope that helps you. I think that for many of us that have a hard time sleeping at night, this may be the case, especially if you are newly spiritually awakened or you've recently had a near-death experience and all of this is just kick-started and happening like crazy wildfire, right? Let me know if this has happened to all of you, or if you actually understood that that was happening, or maybe now you have an aha moment. Let me know. I'd love to hear. So a couple of other tips for protecting yourself. Let me see, where do I want to start first? Well, first, I guess I'm going to share this one. I do this with every single session with my clients that I teach them how to do this, and I think it's a great visualization no matter who you are, no matter what you're experiencing. And that is the first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning, or if you forget, do it when you jump in the shower. But visualizing a bubble around you, and you can even visualize it around your home or your car or your office or your family, but visualize this bubble around you and visualize your higher creator. I believe in God, so I visualize God's beautiful white light hitting the top of that bubble, going all the way around it for protection, but also hitting the top of my head, and just visualizing this beautiful white light hitting every single cell in my body. And I just visualize it going all the way down into my throat, into my heart, into my tummy, my base chakra, into my legs, all the way down to the tip of my toes. And it's almost so funny when I visualize it, it feels like each cell in my body is like going pop, 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 almost like popcorn, and like pop, pop, pop. I don't know how else to explain it, but let me know what it feels like when you visualize that. But I just feel God's love coming all the way down and protecting my body, and I'm in this bubble. And then I also ask Archangel Michael, our ultimate protector, on the right hand side of God. He's got the sword and the shield, and he is this beautiful indigo blue ray color. So if you have been experiencing seeing things, you may see sparkly lights out on the corner peripheral vision of your eyes in his ray color. Hi, Amy. I've done the bubble, and I could actually see it on the highway in Phoenix. Cars all around except the bubble I made. Beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And so Archangel Michael, you might be able to see in those sparkly lights, or you may see tracers in a pitch black room. Many times when I go to sleep at night, I have to have a pitch black room. I can't have any little light. I even have to put black tape over the little blue light on the television in our bedroom, because I can't sleep with any amount of light. And I think this changed when I started having my awakening after my cancer battle, because before it didn't matter, and now I have to have pitch black. But I see tracers, not all the time, but tracers, like, I don't know how else to explain it, but they'll be colors of light, and they'll swoosh across the ceiling. They will show up around the frames of images of my pictures that I have hanging on the wall, and it'll just be this glowing intensity light, and they'll have colors. And that, now I know, I didn't before, now I know those colors are representing the archangels that are there helping me. So watch for those. If you have experienced those, let me know. Love to hear. So that bubble and Archangel Michael and God's beautiful white light, that is one way to protect yourself. And I'm going to share two ways here. So not only the boundaries, the bubble of light, but also if you would like to go even a little bit deeper in more of a, it's kind of like it's a cleansing, like spring cleaning, a cleansing, and it's called saging. And for those of you that haven't heard of saging, it is an old Native American tradition that I really love. I sage a couple times a day when I'm doing my sessions with clients because I want to rid of any leftover lower or negative energies, and I also want to send any spirits that came for my person that I had a session with or a healing with. I like to send them back to the light to be healed or back where they came from, so they don't stay and visit my home for very long, because when I'm not doing this spring cleaning, I will have my television turn on at crazy hours of the night over and over and over. I will have very weird things happening in my home, and it took me a long time to actually figure out what the ding dang heck was going on, because I'm like, I just lay down in bed. This, no kidding, happened. We bought this brand new RV that we live in full time, and I had done a few readings via Skype. And then shortly after that, this brand new television that doesn't even have TV yet. We have no cable, no nothing. We would go to sleep, and an hour after we fell asleep, the TV would turn on. And we've got this blue glowing light just lighting up the whole RV. And I'm like, what the heck? And we double checked everything. It wasn't the timer. It wasn't anything. And so after a while, I figured it out, and I started saging on a more regular basis, and our TV does not do that anymore. So you may experience lights flickering, doors shutting, drawers opening, chairs being stacked on tables. I've helped someone cleanse a home that was happening. Their couch was being pushed. You may be getting nudges in the night, your covers being pulled off. There's all kinds of strange things that can happen. So saging is one way that can help you with protecting your family's home. You could do this to your office, and you can do this to your car. And when you're saging the home, you also want to sage yourself. So it's named after the actual herb sage, and I'm going to show you. I have one here. This is like really huge, but I sage so much that I usually like to have a very large bundle. You can find these in metaphysical stores. You can find these in some rock shops, and I know online you can find some as well. Many, like where I'm at now, it's really hard to find any here, so I have to purchase it online. But you can see that I burn the end. And there's many different ones that you can use, that it doesn't always have to be sage. It can be other types of herbs. So you'll want sage, and you will want a container to put it in. I don't want to tip this, but this is an abalone shell. And it's almost impossible to find good sage here. Dang, yeah. Maybe you can find some places online in Nevada, and that I love buying a lot of stuff in Nevada. And then the other thing is you want a feather, and this is my feather. I love this feather. It's nice and big, but it doesn't have to be any specific type of feather, just a feather. And the reason that you have a feather is this represents air. And when you burn the sage, you don't want it to be on fire, you just want it to be smoldering. So you'll light the sage, get it smoldering, and make sure it's not on fire. Be careful with abalone. Some may have toxic dust. Thank you, Mariah. Thank you. And so it'll be smoldering. And basically, I just hold I've got a hold of this selfie stick, so I can only use one hand. But I have a hold of the abalone shell down below, and I hold the sage. Let me see if I can do this without the selfie stick and the camera going flying. Here we go. So I hold the sage above the shell, so that way if there's any of the residual stuff that's being burned has a place to drop into the shell. Okay, and I go around the home, and I go in a clockwise motion, and I use my other hand, and I swoosh the smoke that is smoking. I swish that to get into the corners, the ceiling, around myself, in the back, all around myself. Yes, ash. That's what I was trying to figure out, that word. It's funny when you go live and all of a sudden you can't remember words. But anyway, you are swooshing the smoke all around, and you want to really pay attention to dark areas, areas that do not receive a lot of light. You want to open up your closets. You want to get underneath the beds. You want to get into the dark corners where the light does not shine. You want to shut the doors, get behind the doors, and really do a good cleansing. And you want to go in each room and go from right to left. And I go up and I go down the walls as I walk through those rooms. And I go into the next room and the next room and the next room, and I try to walk in a clockwise motion throughout the house. Now if it's good weather, it'd behoove you to open a window in each room so that any low energies and negative energies have a place to go. So once this smoke filters into the room, it does something to help rid these lower energies. And so if you open the window, they can go out the window and you can send them to the light to be healed or back to wherever they came from. Once I've walked through the entire house clockwise, I get to the front door and I open the front door and I go up and over and down and around at the entrance of my front door, and I leave the door open and I continue to swoosh the sage smoke out the front door, and I say a little prayer of protection for my home and for my family. And then I want to do the figure 8 and a sideways motion like this with my sage and with the shell and the feather all together. And this is the infinity sign, and that is sealing my home with love. I have sage and I can dry for this. Yay! Awesome. That's great, Darian. I know as soon as we get our property, I am going to be planting a lot of sage, and I want it not only for myself but for all of my beautiful souls that need to buy some and can't find it. Then I can actually help supply you with that sage. So that's one of my goals as well. So you'll want to seal that off. Seal your home, seal your car, seal your office after you've saged, and seal it with that love, with God's love, and see that bubble around your home after you have saged as well. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Where can we get seeds to start that kind? Oh, you know what? Seeds or starts. I will look into that, Mariah. I'll look into finding the right kinds of seeds or starts for sage for burning. Because I know there's sage for cooking, and I'm not exactly sure if it's exactly the same kind. I would imagine it could be, but I will look into that. Thank you. Yeah. Now you've got me on a mission to find that. So there you have it, a couple of ways to protect yourself as well as setting boundaries. Not only do we set boundaries in our personal lives, but we need to set boundaries in our spiritual lives as well. Thank you. I was thinking it has to have source somewhere. Yeah, there has to be a source somewhere. I'm sure there is. I know in Nevada they grow a lot of it. So I might just reach out to a couple of friends of mine in Nevada and ask them where they get theirs. Because sometimes it just grows wild in Nevada. So it could be even just finding a couple of wild plants that we can use. Yes, and it has a lot of medicinal. Yes. Yeah, some of the medicinal properties of sage and like doing the smoke around your body, it actually, how do I say it? It kills, it's an antibacterial. So it can even help with keeping your family healthy. Darian said that she Googled the answer and it's white sage. White sage. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Darian. So I'm excited to help all of you. Please let me know what you thought of this video and if it's going to be helpful for you. I know that I see dead people, so there's more people that see dead people. So please know, many times when you are, I am feeling like I'm getting kisses from somebody. I think it's some angelic, somebody angelic here with us. But I'm not paying attention because I'm paying attention to you. But, yes, okay, thank you. Anyway, just know that most of the time, if you feel like you are seeing souls and spirits, it's more likely that it's a good thing. and not a bad thing. It's more likely that they're either loved ones of yours or part of your spirit team, or they are loved ones of someone that's near you or visits your home often. So don't be afraid. Just know that you have now some tools of protecting yourself and protecting your home and protecting your family. And you can set those boundaries as to what you will accept and when you will allow them in. And so just never be aggressive, never challenge them, and never, I don't know the other word, I just lost the other word, but being in a loving space and loving and kind space is going to go a long ways, because generally they don't have any intention of hurting you or any intention of scaring you. They're just trying to come across to bring a message. So blessings until next time. I hope you guys are enjoying the group, and if I can be of any further help, whether cleansing and healing chakras, I have a beautiful chakra package, would love to do that for you, or whether it would be trying to connect with a loved one on the other side, I would love to help you with that as well. And just know that I am in the midst. I have been planning and cram coursing, and I am on the cusp of having my 8-week course ready. And so I am excited to be able to help teach you even further depth of what you're experiencing and how to navigate through that, so that you can be the best person that you can be, and understanding all these beautiful spiritual gifts that you're experiencing. So have a wonderful weekend, and for all of those mothers that might be watching, happy Mother's Day weekend to you. And until next time, we'll take care.